And welcome back. We're still here on day 6 of the placement rounds. 3 matches in the books, but we still got 1 more to go. Jim Tucker here with Alpha Jackal and Anatoly on the desk. And how you feel about that set?
Maybe a little bit too troll in game 1, but it happens.
I mean, what, the Vulcan and the Hunter role? I like the Hell Solo, don't get me wrong, playing in the classical roots there, but Vulcan, Hunter, what's that about?
You got to try some picks out sometimes, and you only have a certain amount of scrims, so sometimes opportunities arise where you can try out picks in a competitive environment.
You said somebody was doing that scrims against you guys?
No, I'm saying that we didn't have enough time to practice it in scrims.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Well, that was our upper bracket placement match. Let's take a look at it, see how our week has progressed. And as you see, all the names in blue on the top end coming through. Obey end up on top 2-1 over Team Rival. They will be moving on, and they will be facing Splice, while our 4 friends here, Rival, they'll be facing NRG come through. We still have the lower bracket matchup to go here as well. Flipping down to the bottom side, it is going to be Trifecta versus Space Station. Winner of this one faces E-United. Loser faces Dignitas.
I mean, I don't know which one I would rather face at the end of the day. Scrim result winners versus no scrim result winners. It doesn't matter. Both of them are strong in their own rights. And this is going to be an epic clash of these North American titans.
North Americans, at least they got their 2 spots filled in here. They're going to be able to join the remainder of their team here. But let's go to Venenu from Spacestation Gaming and see what he's got to say about this match.
I'm here with Space Station's mid laner, Venenu, and first things first, Venenu, you just look oh so excited for this interview right now, and I gotta ask you, what's it like being the team scapegoat for this one?
Oh yeah, it's really good. I see Coop waving in the door there. He's really cool. Yeah, good admin. Yeah.
All jokes aside, though, what are some of your thoughts heading into this matchup against Trifecta? Because you guys have already qualified, you've gotten through the brunt of the hard work and the heavy lifting, but is this still a set that you guys really want to try and take to Trifecta?
Yeah, because I want to face the United at Worlds.
Looking like you want a little bit of revenge there, or?
Yeah, I want to face the old Michael.
Is that what this is really all about, that you just want to go straight in? And what is something that you would say to that E-United roster right now?
I don't know. I miss Mike. Good hugger. Big snorer.
Big snore.
Yeah.
Is that really what it's all about here? Well, seems like you guys are really tuned in and ready to go for this action. Good luck in your set against Trifecta, and back to you guys on the desk.
Venenu keeping it real, keeping it honest there in the interview. Just wants to see, who doesn't want to see old Michael?
I mean, who doesn't want a hug from Michael as well? It's getting colder. Those hugs, they go a long way.
It was really cold this morning. I woke up, it's like, okay, for Europeans, 32 degrees, or like 34 or 38 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius exactly,
They
but
don't count.
it was cold. It was cold this morning. I'm from Texas, so it was definitely cold for me out there. But going up against here, E-United is that's the prize for these 2 teams, and what a prize.
Oh,
Can
what
you
a
really call it a prize?
No, you can't. That's the whole point.
Is it a
there, Alpha Jackal.
Is it a consolation
It's United,
prize?
the defending champions. I mean, they've been dominating, I think, outside of the land. Spring and summer, not the greatest. Europeans dominating that one. You boys taking it home with the spring, NRG taking it in the summertime. But anything can go at HRX.
And don't forget, that was in the spring and summer, those were squads without the roster swap that happened with Baskin and Venenu.
True.
So this new roster from E-United and this new roster from Space Station up until this LAN weren't tested up against European opposition.
So originally, I thought that this was a lateral move for both of these teams, but I think the chemistry of Baskin joining E-United has definitely helped them elevate much faster than Venenu joining Space Station Gaming.
I definitely think going into the trade, I thought that Venenu going to Space Station was more of a bonus than Baskin going to E-United. But in the short term, it seems that E-United have won that trade. We'll find out if Space Station do take this set at Worlds, who won.
Yeah.
And what a set it's going to be here. We talked a lot about Space Station, but now Trifecta is the one that they are up against. We're going to go ahead and pull over to Coach Shadow Chair for our interview.
Here with Trifecta's coach, Shadow Chair. And Shadow Chair, we haven't had a chance to hear from you ever since Monday. There's been some signs that there could be a possible curse in play anytime you do an interview.
Well, you see, it all stems from how I did my interview, more so than just me doing the interview. I wasn't really fully prepared, so after the horrible loss, I took some time and I prepared myself, and I think I'm ready this time to break the curse once and for all, and to make Trifecta full power. You know.
Well, as the coach, I know your team has been through a lot of ups and downs ever since that initial Insignum set. So what are some of the things that you've taken upon yourself to try and help the team bounce back from that?
Well, I don't do that much. I'm not like a full coach. Going into this LAN, I was more just like a sub coming in because their coach, they had Sada Dragon before, I believe, and he quit before they made LAN. And then I wasn't really going to do much, but as the game's going on, of course, lost the first round. I wanted to try and help out more, so I've just been there to talk about picks and bans and stuff like that.
Well, as a newer member to the team and being in this coach position, you've had some time to kind of internalize the gameplay they've gone through. What do you think are some of Trifecta's best strong points?
Oh yeah, I've learned a lot watching them this LAN. Definitely defense very strong for Trifecta. As you've seen many times, I've seen many times throughout this whole LAN, they've just been absolutely crazy, even from behind.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to find themselves ahead. At least that's what you would hope for as the coach. But for now, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck to Trifecta and their set up against Space Station. Back to you guys on the desk.
I think that was a good point that Shadow Chair brought up. Their defense has been insane this weekend.
It's phenomenal. Against CLG, they were against the ropes trying to make it into, the position that they were here. And now to finally make it to HRX, battling against Space Station Gaming, a lot of rivalry between some of the players there.
I also like the dynamic that they've had throughout this LAN. Coming into it, they were being hyped up a lot from in scrims. They were talked about as the best NA team coming to this tournament. First set, they find themselves losing to Insignum, the Challenger Cup team, minor league team.
Yeah.
That it is, sorry, not Challenger Cup. But they've had a tremendous run through the lower bracket, and they found themselves here almost deservedly.
That's true. Beating out Mouse as well. What a performance out of these two players specifically. Paul really stepping it up for Trifecta.
It's always just been called the Smite Paul League, but in all honesty, this Trifecta squad has started to really come together as of today here. But Paul versus Venenu, that's going to be one of the big matchups to watch here into the mid lane. I mean, when his back was against the wall, you gave Habwa to Paul, and he was able to carry it out through here. And then we just see Venenu, another one of those players who does have a very wide open god pool.
And if you're the coach of Space Station Gaming, Dimmy, are you taking note of Paul's Habwa pick, or are you more worried about some other picks?
I'm worried about other picks. Hebo does have tremendous amount of power, especially when it's being piloted by someone as proficient as Paul, but he does still have those same weaknesses no matter who's playing the god.
Sure.
He's very close range, he has to really start to get the lead early on, otherwise he's not really that great, and his sieging potential is one of the worst coming out of the mid lane.
We've noticed so far with Trifecta, at least I've kind of taken a note here with their mid laners, and you don't give him that late game carry potential god. You don't give him the Raijin, the Freya, the Habwa. When we saw him on that Zhang Kui, he looked very out of place here. Is that something that we might be seeing from SSG, take away those carry potentials away from him?
It's a possibility. I think that there's a lot of threats on the side of Trifecta. Not just Paul. You're looking at Sanford Soccer and NeiruMah. NeiruMah enables that man to get off to a good early game lead in that duel lane. So if I'm Space Station Gaming Alpha Jackal, I'm actually focusing out supports.
I would be focusing out junglers to begin with. I definitely don't want to give Sanford Soccer a carry-type jungler because he's had a phenomenal tournament so far. Outside of the first set against Insignum, I don't think anyone in Trifecta would say they had a great set there. But Sanford Soccer definitely want to take rid of the top two junglers in Erlangchen and Mercury away from him, and then maybe look to focus out NeiruMah.
And what a player mentality to be able to lose the very first day on Monday, to have yourself against the ropes each and every single game, to now make yourself towards HRX, now battling for a seeding to see if you're going to face off against E-United or Team Dignitas.
Picks and bans have started up here for Space Station and Trifecta. And shoutouts to Venenu for having that staring contest with the camera. I think that was like a solid 25-30 seconds he was staring there. Freya, the first god taken off the board. A big shot at Paul onto that one, but just banning Freya.
No surprise. Freya very flexible. I believe Zapman likes to play that god from time to time again. Seeing a little bit of laughs and giggles. I think both of these teams are just kind of staring each other through the glass windows.
And I think SHG have done the right thing here by taking first pick as well. They don't have to ban out the junglers because that's more on the side of Trifecta, banning out both the Erlangchen and Mercury. I think it's going to be Mercury's second ban anyway. So SSG can really free up their bans, look to target ban Trifecta a bit more.
And if Pele gets through, okay, the Odin is banned. I was going to ask, where does the Odin kind of come through if you're going to leave the Pele and the Mercury available?
I think Odin is a really, really strong character right now, and I do like the fact that SSG have banned it, but I don't necessarily agree in North America's stance in the fact that they are all banning it all the time.
Is there ever going to come to a meta phase where Odin is first picked, you think, during HRX?
I think given the right bans, Odin is definitely a first pick potential.
Fair enough.
It really does feel like Odin has that potential to just kind of disrupt the entire picks and bans if he is grabbed first here. But do you think we're going to see the fabled Fenrir first pick? It's 100% so far for Fenrir.
Well, for the last set specifically between Obey and Rival, and that's the European meta. North America going to stray away from it for a little bit, going to lock in the Opwash, and it's gonna. The reason why this Odin ban is just so popular is because it allows gods such as Opwash to go through without second pick Odin threats to lock you in.
What a time to be alive with an Opwash first pick. What a time to be alive.
You told me this was going to happen at the Summer LAN. I would have slapped you. 100%.
If I would have told you this at any other LAN or any other online event, you would have slapped me. But here we have the Opwash first pick, and their Trifecta, they're looking to respond with the Fenrir coach, giving us a beautiful little Macarena dance there.
Oh, is that an homage to Shark? Are they going to pick Shark then?
Oh, is that what's happening? The rain dance?
Maybe.
Ah, I see what you're doing
But
there.
I do like the Fenrir pick if they do end up taking this. It could sit on the Opwash, really put pressure on him in the mid lane, because Opwash can't peel from himself on the Brutalize.
And normally when you're thinking of ways to eliminate a mid-mage, you're thinking of gods like Naja, you're thinking of gods like Fenrir. What other gods are you thinking of?
Something which can just sit on the Opwash extremely well, like a Pele. Opwash can do nothing against the Pele because he has no mobility.
So if I'm United, I'm thinking maybe even Bastet for Scream, right? Like, isn't that a god that can also kind of get in and out of the action very cleanly?
It would depend on what support SSG would have. I wouldn't first pick Bastet. There's too many counters open. You can pick up an Ares, you can pick up an Artio.
A Willish.
And then Bastet's all of a sudden just in a very bad spot. But gods like Fenrir, when they jump in, they're full-on committing rather than looking to jump back out of the fight afterwards. Certainly a safer pick in the early stages.
We saw Mouse pick up a KaBRAKCCN previously. Do you think KaBRAKCCN would be another one of those possible dive gods that can do real well? I mean, he does have the slow immunity and can really just jump in there.
I remember when Opwash first came out, and his kit was so unbelievably broken at a casual level that everybody decided he was one of the best releases ever created. Was first picked in his first game by Dignitas, back when SunTouch was playing. Enemy team picked KaBRAKCCN immediately after, destroyed the Opwash, was not touched again.
I don't necessarily blame them considering how much burst damage that KaBRAKCCN has. We saw Nika play it in his set up against Obey Alliance. Didn't make it an easy time for Pretty Prime on the Zeus whatsoever, but going for this Fenrir Ullr for Trifecta, giving up the Pele. Surprised to see Ullr drafted so early in this draft.
I'm not so sure on that. I do like that it has a flex pick potential here between Zapman and Paul.
But you would like a Pele there, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say Pele and Fenrir at the same point. You want to keep that flex pick potential open. Fenrir that early in a North American game, I'm not so sure, because up until now they haven't really valued it that highly.
Taking a page out of your guys' book, but with the Pele also comes the Geb. You got a good backline diver and a good backline peeler now for Space Station.
Especially with this Geb pick, having those shields really going to be able to help out this Opwash or anybody who gets picked up by that Ragnarok ultimate from the Fenrir. That's pretty much the tried and true counter that we've seen here, and Ravan is seeing a little bit of play. We've gotten him once before. Tell me a little bit about this Ravan jungle. What's his role in this?
Dive, and kill the mid laner some more. That's pretty much it. And Opwash has big burst on his Corpse Explosion. Outside of that, it's trickle damage coming out from the dot from his Fleeting Breath or his ultimate. And Ravan, with his overhead kick, can immune most of the damage coming out of this Opwash. He's really going to struggle in this game if Pele and Geb aren't babysitting him throughout the early game.
I don't know about you, Ajax, but... Or
Ajax.
Alpha Jax. I
Whoa.
was about to say
Alpha
AJ, and then for some reason I
It's been a
said
long day.
Ajax. It has been a long day, but I'm personally worried about how aggressive Trifecta's composition is in their own right. I think they kind of are going to bait themselves to almost all-in committing on the Opwash to the point where Geb is going to be able to freely save him.
Well, they do have a lot of lockdown as well. It's single target lockdown, but it is lockdown nonetheless, and that can really stifle the Pele. If Pele gets caught by a 10-hand Shadow Fist, or if it gets caught by an Unchained or an Ullr Axe, then that's a lot of burst being locked down onto that Pele. If Trifecta are communicating this well, one stun equals pretty much an insta-kill on any squishy.
Guardians being banned here in the second phase, and Chunga might as well be a Guardian. She's been playing that solo lane a lot. That battle utility mage in the solo lane. It's pretty much really the only place we've been seeing her as of recently. Once upon a time, we had her in the jungle for a short while. That was during the reign of DJ Pernicus at that time. But
a little bit of Skilladon from Oxygen Supremacy.
a little bit there too as well, yeah.
And between both ScaryD and Aquarius, both of them like the Chang'e, and knowing that Trifecta has this Ravana Fenrir leads me to believe that one of those two is going in the solo lane if they're banning away the Chang'e, considering Trifectas with the next pick.
That is actually a pretty good shout. They're still keeping the flex open potential for the support role, but Fenrir into Geb, depending on who hits level 5 first, would really win that matchup. It's difficult to say where the Fenrir is going to go, but the solo lane does look like the best option right now.
Banning away the Raijin, taking a shot there at Paul. Not sure where that Ullr is going, as you mentioned. Flex potential between Zapman and Paul with that Hunter. Anatoly, where is Trifecta looking in the second half?
I think they're going NeiruMah for Zapman. Ullr going to go for mid. No, I called it right off the bat.
Psychic.
I just knew it. This is what they did in, what set was it after they played in Signum? It was one of the international teams, I believe. I can't recall, but it was immediately after the set against Insignum. I believe they won the game where it was super defensive set. It was ScaryD on the Chang'e. It was
Get on My
Zapman.
Level.
That's what it was? Get on my level.
Yeah.
I believe that they played this NeiruMah Chang'e combination against them, and they were able to just really hold the game.
Shot up Paul there with the Hebo hover. Not so sure that's going to get locked in for Space Station.
I don't really see this being locked in, but we did see the Pele ADC from HRX. Last time, this could possibly be a Hobwa jungle if it's locked in.
Andinster has played a lot of Hobwa jungle throughout his career. In the launch tournament, he played it a whole bunch alongside the Freya, but he's no stranger to it. He's kind of giving a little slight smirk, thinking about locking in that Hobwa jungle. We've seen Captain Twig play it so far today against you guys, actually, in game number 1.
And don't forget, Pele solo is also a possibility. Back when Pele was first allowed in competitive, we did see a bit of Pele solo come out from European teams.
Yeah, you guys did it.
Yeah, we did do it. It didn't work out for us.
And then you guys never did it again.
No, we did not.
Are you thinking about, well, like, ScaryD had a good game, I think, that same week in the solo lane for it.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it has potential. It's certainly very annoying to deal with, and it is going to be the Hebo lock-in. This is most likely almost 100% going to be a Pele solo. And then AMC to go alongside the Geb. 3 high-priority targets to defend, and only Geb to defend them.
Wow, a Muzen comp. Really old-school Hunter now for BaRRaCCuDDa. And honestly, I'm not sure if that's his favorite god. It's either that or Cupid, because every time he locks in one of those two gods, you can just see that he has the biggest grin on his face.
Bear's getting the B.
That's right.
I imagine Bear's getting the B here, though. This could go anywhere with this Space Station comp. Trifecta locking in Cerberus, the 3-headed doge of the underworld. It's going to be the final god locked in for this Trifecta squad.
I really like the draft coming out from Space Station, though, when I see the draft from Trifecta as well. On its own, Space Station's draft really lacks a lot of appeal. But when you have a look at Trifecta's draft, you're thinking, well, they're just going to dive on us a lot, so why don't we just pick gods that are very difficult to dive and just kill you if you overstep your boundaries?
That makes a lot of sense, but the last 2 picks, this NeiruMah Cerberus, that's a lot of magical penetration. You got the first 3 physical, and now between the Clay Golems and the Ghastly Breath, I'm kind of favoring Trifecta's draft if they can get to that mid-game 5-on-5 team fighting phase.
I see Trifecta's draft being slightly stronger if they get that snowball going. Space Station's draft, very defensive, very hard to deal with, but if Trifecta get that early lead, it can blow them out of the water.
Well, SSG and Trifecta's draft rounded out here. It's a massive amount of burst potential coming out of here of Space Station. A lot of self-peel more than anything else via the way of damage versus Trifecta's kind of heavy damage and dive composition.
And I'm expecting just early aggression between both of these teams, honestly. Knowing how aggressive Pele needs to be from the get-go in this matchup, it's probably going to be, if I were to call it, probably going to be a Fenrir in the solo lane. We haven't really seen too much Ravana in the solo lane as a result, but you never really know with this late-night smite action.
I think, so it's 100% Ravana jungle. I'm going to guess it's Cerberus solo Fenrir support.
Oh, okay. I see that too.
All right, guys. One word. SSG, Trifecta. Who you calling?
Trifecta.
SSG.
You heard it from the analyst. Casters, take it away.
Thanks so much, Jay, back at the desk. On the call with me today is gonna be Aggro and F. once again for this Space Station versus Trifecta matchup. I think Tony said it best. It's late night smite.
Oh, it's real Bomb King hours for sure. Spacestation Gaming and Trifecta are going to blow up just like what I just said. BaRRaCCuDDa's on the AMC. Gotta love that. What I'm really looking at here, though, solo lane Hobwa.
Aqua has been one that wants to play these sorts of odd picks. I mean, the Thanatos solo was there for a little bit for him. You had a lot of options to go to, and The Habwa solo, if left unchecked, can do insane things for your draft.
But Boots 2 start?
This is the Aqua start. He loves doing it on everybody, basically.
Quick
He does it on a
base
lot
TP.
of warriors. Exactly. You go to base. As soon as you get that 700 gold mark and you're able to get back and be able to fight really effectively, even though you don't have the blessing, you just do more damage.
Well, it's a bit of a celebration for these two teams, too. They have both qualified for Worlds today. In an excited form, too. This is for seeding between the two, and that's why you've seen a bit more experimentation today in these last two games.
That's the really big thing is that I want to drive home is the fact that we've been sitting here looking at placements. All these teams have gone through the ringer just so they can play against better teams next week.
Yeah.
So this is really your last chance to put together any sort of crazy compositions, try any ridiculous strats, because whatever you didn't show earlier in the week, this is either you showing it right now or kind of just testing other stuff.
And technically, I mean, if the teams that have already qualified don't really watch this whole event and just watch these games, well, they'll know by our voices and what we just said.
Yeah.
Way to go, Hindu, man.
But they don't give anything away, right?
In theory, but look, if a team is only watching the final set and not the entirety of a team's body of work throughout this whole event, then I don't know what they're doing.
And also, frankly, look, I think it's season 5, and I think that if you show your strategy, you still don't auto lose.
Once upon a time, do you remember the day when two EU teams qualified and they all met in mid and hugged it out? It was really sweet. I was kind of hoping for the same thing in this set, but
No.
NA, too mean.
I don't want that nonsense.
You don't?
No, I don't want no hugging, no hand holding.
No, you know they all grouped up in mid and were like taunt and dance at each other? I would have ganked them, but I would have set them up for the play like, hey guys, do you want to do this? And then
Didn't that happen in the World Finals year 1 as well?
Yeah.
Didn't Titan and COG do the same exact thing that
Yeah,
year?
for getting to the finals.
That's
one of the
crazy.
things. Mid lane, Andinster under pressure, and he's already taken down. Paul will get the kill.
Just like that, Paul the Ullr. I mean, this has been one of the characters. We were talking about how strong his Hebo was and how big of a deal his Hebo was once upon a time. The Ullr is just as storied. It's just another Paul god.
It is. It's aggressive early god that can get off to an insane lead. It's something that he can put his mechanics on display with. And it works with Trifecta and what they like to do a lot, which is get pressure in the mid lane, let the duo lane be the one to get towards the back of the team fights and wait until the later game for them to make the bigger impacts.
Well, that composition in the mid lane from Space Station, too, if you think about it, and the jungle position. Mobility there for Pele, but, well, a little bit of control, let's put it that, but it's really all about mobility and sustain. Venenu, same sort of thing, lack of mobility, but it slows that he brings. So when you've got Paul jumping on you and maybe Soccer too, well, you have a bit of difficulty there.
Well, Trifecta looking for the red buff invade. NeiruMah going to be working on BaRRaCCuDDa on the left-hand side. And he's in trouble one more time, but a good knockup won't be strong enough. Zapman takes care of the jungle.
Venenu has no mana, but
yeah,
Jeff
Jeff.
with the basics, punch him down, son. Paul will go down for a 1-for-1. Sam still being chased momentarily, but on the back of this, the bee has found the dog.
No mana doesn't necessarily mean no life. One more tick.
Potions.
But the guys, they can't catch
Potions.
up. They can't catch up.
Potions is still too much. Venenu's still trying to come around the corner. Minuwave will block this and does so. NeiruMah will escape. Calculated.
Perfect. Neil and BaRRA just had a man fight around the purple buff while the rest of all the action was happening around the red. Andy's fallen pretty far behind now, but Sam may have stayed a little bit too long.
Yeah, now he's going to fall down momentarily to Andinster. The mobility won't allow Sam to escape whatsoever. Left-hand side, just saw the purple buff invade. Don't believe it was successful, though, as NeiruMah has it wrapped around his waist.
Ultimate from Scary D, traded out for Ultimate from Aquarius. So kind of 1-for-1 there, not too big of a deal. These two solo laners, though, have two very different thought processes. Scary D wants to go ahead, get tanky, build some items so that he can later on affect the team fights. Aquarius, on the other hand, he's just trying to get as much gold as possible and rotate early, perhaps even earlier than the dog, so he can just get these sort of surprise from behind kills.
But even if he doesn't rotate early on, he's got that potential to make insane late game, totally game-changing plays with this Habwa. We saw what Paul was able to do with it in their set earlier on the day against Mouse. It's what punched the ticket for Trifecta to go to the DreamHack Championship. So I think Aqua was trying to show Paul that he's not the only one who's got the Waterman under control.
Don't really think coming into this set, though, everyone's surprised to see Space Station in this position of qualifying. Trifecta, on the other hand, they've had a rough tournament overall with how it's gone.
the very beginning part of the tournament, Zapman was not performing. Aquarius jumped up on top, but he defends himself.
He will escape, but that means he's still going to use the blue buff. Really like that knock-up there.
The knockup was good, but I also like Zapman giving exact vision to Sam to show exactly where Aqua was. There wasn't a lot of ward vision down there. I think that ward is new around that blue buff, but Zapman's ultimate basically acts as the immediate ward.
Blue buff on the right side being contested by Andinster as he comes in trying to strip that away. But a poker to Sam for soccer there as well, but Scaredy holds the blue buff. And he gets a little bit low, but it is Pele, and lifesteal is a thing on her.
Yeah, she's willing to just stick in there and battle it out because of that passive, able to really fight whoever she wants.
Baron Zap in the duo lane. Been saying that name for a long time, although NeiruMah versus AMC is not a matchup I remember back in the days. It used to be the old Apollo versus Anhur, I guess, is the matchup you'd see. But NeiruMah gets stung, has to use his ultimate. Good use of that ult, actually, to avoid the cripple.
CC immunity was there, but Jeff's got to be a little bit earlier on that Cataclysm. I think that still could have been a kill for the duo lane of Spacestation if Jeff just used his ult earlier.
Yeah, NeiruMah, I think, is quick on that no matter what. Might even be able to jump over the Cataclysm. We've seen NeiruMah come out. He's sort of been the mechanical guy. But again, going back to what you were saying, Hindu, that's really just as of extremely recently. This has been a 6-day tournament.
Yep.
And luckily for Trifecta and their fans, NeiruMah and Zapman have stepped it up today and yesterday. Before that, the left side of the map for Trifecta was really anemic.
It was struggling. There's no doubt about that. But Scary had his moments while the left side was struggling. Sam and Paul were the dudes.
Yeah.
I think you could make a really strong argument that Sam for Soccer was the best player here this week. I think that he played that well throughout the entirety of this tournament. But Trifecta
or all?
All. I mean, Prime, Twig, they all played well
Vote
for Obey.
Vote really stepped up too. I mean,
Vote
Vote's
played
been
well.
around, but I think he's been really solid.
Yeah, Vote played well. I just think that even in the losses that Trifecta took, Sam was usually the leading man and doing what he could in those games. And in the games where Trifecta won, sometimes it was all because of Sam.
Fighting the right side and the crushing wave out from Aquarius. Scary, he's very low. The dunk from Sam, though, could put Aquarius under pressure. And this is going to pick up the kill. Aquarius in trade. Solo for solo. Both junglers getting credit for the kill.
Good idea there from Spacestation to go aggressive, but Aqua was just short of enough damage to kill Scary before Stygian Torment was able to come out and set up Sam for Soccer for an easy Ravana.
You know, I'm going to double down on what you just said. Sam for Soccer 2 absolutely has been the best player here at LAN.
What about Water?
I don't know where that guy is, but if you make an argument for Pretty Prime, I'm listening. But Sam for Soccer, I think, has just been outstanding.
Oh, Jeff was rolling and they hate him. Trifecta blowing him up after the Cataclysm after the fact. That was a bit awkward.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jeff, not his strongest initiation of all time. The good old 720 rollout initiation, usually a bit telegraphed.
I think they were expecting Venenu to follow up after the Cataclysm, but in mid lane, it's Trifecta following up. The crypts have been empty, but Venenu can't buy the different Paul, though. Still trying to thread the needle with those autos. Eats a lot of damage.
Great heads-up play by Venenu, though, underneath that tower to drop that Corpse Surge, give himself that extra bit of health. Paul had the kill until Ven healed up a little bit too much.
That was the jump party. Trifecta come out of nowhere. Left side, right side, all you saw was Paul. Reason enough to be scared as is, but when the two teammates flank you from either side, shout-outs to Venenu for really having the wherewithal to do what Ryan just said.
Hebo with the Bancroft's talent into the Cerberus matchup. Obviously, Cerberus has anti-heal, right? But
he does.
We've discussed, Bancroft's being good on Hebo anyway. Is it worth not looking elsewhere with this build?
You could have gotten Voidstone here if you're Aqua, but Aqua's so much less worried about the laning phase and more worried about these later game team fights.
Sure.
You're not thinking about, is this what's perfect right now? It's what's going to serve me better later on in the game.
And I don't want to see anything for... All right, good.
You're good.
I don't want to see anything defensive on a Hebo. That's just not what Hebo's going to be doing. He's got to do raw damage. I understand the idea that most solo laners are tanky, but that's not his job.
Right-hand side, here comes another potential gank as the lead from NeiruMah's good. He picks up Aquarius and the fist to the back of his head before the crushing wave goes up. Blue buff soon after. Trifecta are really starting to run away with this.
This is what Trifecta does best. They just run at you again and again and again. And they keep running at you, and someone is going to die. It's either you or it's Trifecta. And in this game so far, it's mostly been Space Station who's been on the receiving end.
And this is a little bit far on the left-hand side. NeiruMah around the corner. Paul going to leap in, find the X to his head, and the damage after the fact. NeiruMah looks for the leap, but Andy's backstep helps him out for a second. Jeff just can't get in range to support.
Max range axe. I mean, Paul, I don't know why I'm still surprised. It's so much fun to watch him nail this nonsense, and now they're going to go for the red buff invade.
Not going to be able to find it, though. BaRRaCCuDDa will get that and get back to the lane. But anyway, in the mid lane, though, Paul finds him. Threads the needle. This is a relaxed Trifecta because they know they've qualified. You can already see it in the play. This is so calm.
One.
As now Sam comes over
Two.
for a double kill, and the Gold Fury opens up.
This is Trifecta playing fast and loose, man. And this is how they're kind of built to play. I mean, you take off the restrictions and you let them ride. And Paul just going ham with the Ullr. Neil's getting to play super aggressive with his Fenrir. The Ravana selection complements those picks perfectly. This is how Trifecta is designed to look.
This is all in. And a lot of times, you know, we saw it earlier where Paul was just one shot away. Well, that's what Zapman's playing new off for.
True.
This is a perfect Trifecta composition. ScaryD is going to be up close and personal, and then everybody else is going to look for plays like this. Andy turning things around on top of Paul. Aegis is down, but Paul, he turns it around. Oh my goodness, what an incredible play. Paul walking on home.
Aquarius versus ScaryD still going on, but Zapman gets involved. That Aegis aggro, that Aegis.
That was sick. That was so sick. That was just sick smite from both players because Andy, first thing he does, he blinks in and ults because he knows that Paul is going to immediately leap away, have the exact read on where he was going, and then gets punished for every good deed he did because Paul just waits long enough, is able to buy time for his cooldowns to come back up, and an axe straight to the dome of Andinster, who just doesn't have purification beats.
Crazy situation then. A Space Station get just as aggressive as Trifecta, but Trifecta keep answering the call. Paul has 6 kills already. 6, 1, and 1. He's half the team's kills.
He's got 7,000 player damage in 12 minutes. I mean, it just speaks for itself. Again, I think one of my favorite things about this whole season has been Paul moving from the minor league, where he was a bully and just better than everyone,
and he's still
to
bullying,
to the pro league, and then he realized he was still better than a lot of these players.
Red buff being invaded. NeiruMah doesn't care about the red. He wants Venenu. Crypts emptied and beads used on the Ragnarok. Cataclysm from Jeff, though, caused a lot of problems for Neil there.
No way.
And the bees may just do it, and they will.
A little bit of help from Ven's dot as well, but the stinger was perfect by BaRRa. We'll say that Ven's beads were a little bit preemptive. Got to trust JeffHindla in that spot, that he's going to shield you. He could have gotten out of that without using his relic.
Now then it's 12-4, another kill on the scoreline. This has been a back and forth so far, but 7,000 gold is a huge lead for Trifecta at this point, with just that one Gold Fury being taken down. Laning phase will be ending relatively soon as we start to hit towards the mid-game. Tier 1 on the right-hand side is already dead. And now we're looking at Jeff looking for a bit of a cheeky bait if he can. Zap's been playing this lane very safe, which you'd expect, right?
That is NeiruMah ADC in a nutshell. You don't have a choice but to play it very safe. You can never play NeiruMah ADC aggressively in any matchup.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Run in somebody's face and go, minions. I mean, it's just not what the character is made to do, let alone against a hunter, let alone one of the best clearing hunters in the damn game.
Trifecta are trying to add to their gold lead as well with the Pyromancer right now. 3 members on the right-hand side, 4 actually.
They could have done fire.
Yeah. Could they have done fire?
Yes.
They could have done fire at that point. I mean, Aqua was backing to base. Ven is in the mid lane, but look at all the ward coverage that Trifecta has on that right side jungle. They could have outright pulled fire.
That's Trifecta being cautious. That's them playing it safe, doing Pyromancer instead of Fire Giant at 13 minutes.
Well, they group it up on the right and take away the blue buff again from Aqua, who's 4 levels down against ScaryD now with the focus he's had multiple times. Ult for ult exchanged again. Small result for Trifecta as Sam Pisaka was lurking for the kill. Now NeiruMah maybe had to go aggressive on Jeff and Andinster, but instead Sam's trying to get aggressive on Aquarius.
This is the problem with putting carries in the solo lane, and I am a fan of it when it works, but when it doesn't, you have nothing there.
Well, NeiruMah a little bit out of position here, but gets away with the leap. Teleport to the mid lane from Aquarius now as he tries to get back to the action, thinking there was going to be a bit of a pick there.
The Hebo's just not going to be able to do anything. When you're playing a warrior or a control character like we usually see, when you get behind, taunt still taunt. Stygian Torment still Stygian Torment. You might die and have a hard time initiating, but you're still able to do your job at least some. Aquarius can't really do it.
Still got that water spout though. I mean, he's still got a knock-up.
He's still got the speed carpet as well.
That's right. Now you're slowing him. That's big plays.
These wards on the left-hand side aren't necessarily always wards too. Keep it out for the hives. They do give a bit of vision around that area as time goes on. The wall coverage on the right is all for Trifecta. BaRRa, please. BaRRa, please.
BaRRa, please.
BaRRa, please. Thank you.
BaRRa!
I swear he can hear us, right? Like, they must know what's going on here. Mid lane, still two trying to defend as now the rotation as Trifecta start to group up towards mid and the Gold Fury, which is about to spawn.
Players kind of thinking about it. Trifecta is going to make their way over there. Space Station still moseying around in the middle lane. That said, Aquarius has made his rotation as well. But Sammy, he's thinking about BaRRaCCuDDa. Knocking out some of the hives, just making sure that should BaRRa want to rotate, it's going to be slower without that movement speed.
Maybe he also does not like the noise that BaRRaCCuDDa was spamming with the honey. That's
fair.
Certainly an option.
That is fair. Gold Fury is pulled by Trifecta though. All five are here. Space Station not in the area to try and defend. Is it even worth trying to defend in this situation?
No, you can't take that fight if you're Space Station. You need to be taking every fight you can underneath a structure. But at the same time, it's not even worth taking fights underneath Tier 1 at this point because you're that far behind. Tier 2s are maybe worth defending, but I hope Space Station likes the Order side base because they are going to be spending a lot of time waiting there.
12,000 experience in the lead with 12 kills on the board. If it was only 12k gold, then we'd get all the 12s tonight. It's good analysis that by me because that's all there is to really say right this moment in time.
JeffHindla's level 12.
Thanks, Tom. Great job on the addition there. It's been a long week, boys and girls, as you can tell. The players feeling the burn too. You can kind of tell in this set, honestly, and how the last two sets have been, with the fact that everyone's just happy to be going to Worlds after a long old grind this week.
Look, I from experience, I can tell you that in games like this, that you know you've already completed your goal, or your goal is you know you won't be able to make your goal. In this case, it's on the good side for both of these teams. I had the other side of the coin. But in these sorts of games, you're definitely playing, you want to win, but really these are just the moments where you want to take it kind of chill, spend some time with your team. You can work some things out. Maybe BaRRa really does want to try the AMC into the NeiruMah. That's something that he's interested in. But at the end of the day, this isn't the most pressure these players will ever be under. And taking it a little bit more loose is usually a good idea. It prevents the burnout.
It shows the fun of the game, right? That's what you're after too, because at the end of the day, you do try and play to have fun where you can.
The problem is, taking it loose is Trifecta's actual approach to Smite game. And so, all right, guys, we're just going to hang out, play some early game monsters, and try to deathmatch it out.
Ooh, Zap, what are you doing in this trade? This is a bit awkward, the bees. However, can he pick up his stinger? That's the question. I don't think
Die
he can.
for it, BaRRa. Blink for it.
Oh, the claimant needs a backup. The honey comes into play right-hand side. Andy's looking for a pick on Sam, who has to jump away. Andy gets a kill.
There's going to be the continuation of the team fight as Andy gets locked down. Left side, the 1v1. Zapman's got the dots on him. BaRRaCCuDDa trying to chase him. Where's the minions? Zapman makes him spawn. Zapman sends him back to base while his teammate across the map deicides the rest of them.
And that's why Zapman's going to Worlds and Zapman isn't. What a solo kill by the NeiruMah.
Why would you say that? What do you mean? We were all thinking it, but nobody should have said that ever. Paul, though, on the run from Venenu for now. NeiruMah coming around the corner, but he's about to step on a ward too. Will he take the trade with this?
Yeah, I think Neil wins this trade. I think that Fenrir's base damage at this point in the game is
Maybe he's got on the abilities.
He no longer wins this trade.
We're still going to work away with that damage, and actually Venenu got real low there. TP out from Aquarius again to the tier 1 to support. I want to go back and just watch the replay of BaRRa versus Zap and the little chase around where the clay minions respawn and BaRRa kind of went, well, I didn't do it in time.
I mean, that was just a countdown, right? NeiruMah's just sitting there waiting for her cooldowns to come up. Mage versus Hunter. Guess what? Mage abilities are generally better than Hunters, and Hunter basic attacks are generally better than Mage abilities. Or than basics. That's how that one went. And Zapman wins the cooldown race.
No, it's actually just the opposite in this matchup because, I mean, AMC doesn't get a free root on his auto attacks, so NeiruMah's auto attacks are by default better in my mind. And then BaRRaCCuDDa's got the low cooldown, big damage abilities, and Swarm and Honey that slow you down and do good stuff.
In a normal game, NeiruMah and AMC would never see each other is what you'd end up seeing because they're both at the backside of the fights. However, it's nice to see those gods go out in the duo lane for a little while. Pyromancer has been started up for a minute. And there's a couple of members of Trifecta over on this side of the map. Is Zapman still back at the left-hand side? Even though he won the trade, he lost his tower beforehand.
Zapman going here and using the reveal all. What are they called?
Ritual.
Ritual. Yeah, there it is. The Zapman ult here just giving vision is the word I'm looking for, excuse me. Map vision for the rest of his team. Not looking for the damage, and I think that's really my favorite part of the new ult. It just lights the map up for an entire ultimate, so you can either confirm your objective that you're looking at or confirm whatever other plan you're thinking about.
Poor Jeff. He watches BaRRaCCuDDa base, and now he's got Sam who's just rotated around the back. NeiruMah's on the way too. Root, stun. Poor Jeff. This is what Mr. Kassir was expecting, I think, when he came into this tournament.
Paul seals it!
He waited 9 kills. He went to go divine, and that's exactly what happened. Andy versus ScaryD, 3 levels down, and Cerberus against the Pele is actually an interesting one because the lifesteal's less effective.
Again, against the Cerberus, and you're healing the Cerberus up anyways, even when it is effective.
Venenu got a free beats the Ragnarok, and that means that NeiruMah gets a free tasty treat for Paul to eat one more time. 18-6 now, approaching 21 minutes in.
Ragnarok's one of those abilities that's really crummy to look for the pre-beads on. Obviously, you're going to cancel it immediately. Let's hold that thought as BaRRaCCuDDa gets chased away. Sammy blinks on him. There's some trouble as Paul shows up as well. And when Paul shows up, everyone else goes home the hard way, and he confirms the Gold Fury over the top.
Level 20 with that build. Full Transcendence, Crusher, Executioner. Meanwhile, BaRRaCCuDDa, he was doing all right in that laning phase. For the most part, his build's not that far behind, but not going to be enough.
That's just dumb. He went home and bought a full chin-size Mace 1.
We feel good about that if we're a Trifecta fan, that's for sure. Paul is playing the type of god that is going to win this game really fast or fall behind pretty early on and not be able to make the same level of impact. And the risk is there, but when you're Paul, usually you find the reward.
And Sele last time for Sam for Soccer before he gets rid of his Assassin's Blessing. Across the way, Soul Eater. We've seen a little bit more of this as time's gone on for Pele. How is this item? Because we don't see it that often.
I think it's good. I think that it puts you in positions where you can do things in team fights that no other character in the game can ever do. Those low, you get a volcanic lightning going, you start pulsing out that damage throughout a whole team fight, you heal for all of it, it's insane.
Venenu gonna get chased down by NeiruMah once again. No, he's got no beads. And Paul will clean up the kill. In goes Paul again, they're looking towards Aquarius as Andy's forced to ult and dash away from the mid lane. As you saw, Trifecta got the Fire Giant, and now they're barreling down the mid lane. This is becoming very one-sided very quickly.
I mean, it was one-sided from minute 3 or so. I mean, it was constant red buff invades by Trifecta. Paul just got off to a huge lead, and normally you don't expect red buff invades from a team that has NeiruMah ADC, but Zap could be a spectator in this one because he's been along for the Paul ride.
Play minions as well, something that does help the resisting towers. They don't remove backdoor protections, but it's just a body to tank some of those shots for the team. Onto the Phoenix they go then. Nice little knockabout for Aquarius who's following along with Paul. We might as well stick with Paul on this because he keeps landing all the kills anyway. 13-1-1.
I mean, I'm anticipating multi-kills. I'm ready to take numbers on if we see a pentakill this match. Paul's at that level where he can obliterate one player, jump to the back line, axe another player down, and waterfall through the entire team. I think it's absolutely in the realm of possibilities. We just watched the Paulfecta show.
Especially with the fact that Space Station, none of them on that team are level 20 just yet.
Yeah.
Multiple members now of Trifecta have already hit that level, as now Space Station just looking for scraps in the jungle.
Opwash dies in an axe combo. He doesn't survive it. He just dies, axe, 1-3, basic, you're done.
In fairness though, Puch dies in an axe combo normally, right? And over straight up 1v1 if you can land it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be pretty close, but most of the time he's dealing enough damage to you that you can't just jump on him and disrespect him. But at this point, Paul doesn't really have to be that worried about Ven's damage, at least until Soul Reaper's done.
And here we go to the tier 2 on the left-hand side. Space Station trying to get what they can of the scraps on the right-hand side of the map, knowing they can't contest these tier 2s. But now the Phoenix is under threat. The backs are coming through. I don't even think Andinster got time to get the speed buff. He's already basing to get back to defend this Phoenix.
BaRRaCCuDDa's here. JeffHindla's going to roll out to make sure he's in front of his team. Trifecta splitting with Sam for Soccer. 4 players on the left side.
Meanwhile in the mid lane, Andinster versus Sam. And so far that battle's gone the way of Sam as Paul comes in. A couple of minions still. Look how quick that Phoenix is falling. Andy can't really stop it, so he's going to block it with his actual body. Ultimate out of Zap, and that's a damage check, and Aquarius and Venenu actually lost a fair bit of health.
And that makes everyone go back to the fountain, which means this left side Phoenix is very vulnerable. Problem is, Paul is at red buff, so a little bit of a miscommunication about what's more important on the map, Phoenixes or the red buff.
A little bit more of a ranked game, as you can tell, with Paul going for that one that time round. But that middle Phoenix now has a full minion wave in here. BaRRa is over here too, however, as now the assault begins again. Three members on the left from Trifecta.
Paul uses the hail of arrows and brings Aquarius down to 85 just like that. That's absolutely what you don't want to see if you're on Space Station Gaming. Again, the Hebo is kind of not doing his job here. It's really tough.
Still, the easiest thing in this was defense on Phoenixes. We've discussed it all season. It's another prime example of, well, you can technically snowball, people say, you know, and get the lead in the game. But when it gets to Phoenixes, if your team is coordinated, it's not an easy task to bring them down.
Especially when you've got Opwash on your team, who is nearly impossible to siege into at all times because his ultimate covers the entire width of the lane, also pretty far back, as well as the corpse surge is insane. It's a massive slow that's very difficult to get past without getting knocked down and losing some health.
If you are just tuning in, though, it's 20-6. Space Station Gaming and Trifecta have qualified for the World Championships next weekend, starting on the Friday. This is a place for seeding in this best of 3, and that's all this is really about. And that's why they're having a bit more fun with this, because the hard graft is really over at this point in time. Trifecta in full control. It's been a long week for these boys, and long day 2 as we're approaching, well, what's this? Probably like hour 8 so far?
We started broadcast at 11. It is currently, my watch isn't working, 7:30.
7:31.
So approaching hour 9, near enough between the two. I was close and almost dead on the money. Good situation then to be, is now Trifecta couldn't break the base in the first Fire Giant, so now they're going to look back and have to look for the second Fire Giant, but this fight seems to be over the red buff between Sam and Paul here. And maybe even Neil's getting involved.
Oh, we'll see who gets it. It's going to be Paul.
Why was Sam even there to do it like that? I actually thought they were fighting over it at first, but speed buff on Sam, I mean, it could only
No,
go.
it's the all protect Paul comp. You guys are missing that.
Is that what they're rolling around?
It's
with?
the Paul ball. They just move forward as a unit.
No, you're thinking of Paul Mall, the hip hop.
Fire Giant started up again.
That's Paul Wall.
Down to half.
That is Paul Wall. I was thinking of Paul Mall, which is something else that I don't remember.
Keep going, so I don't mind.
I already missed mine, so it's
Well,
really
It's
tough.
not summer. It's Paul Fall right now. That's what we're talking about as we head to DreamHack.
Really? It took you that long, and that's the best you came up with?
What
At
we
least
have
I
learned-
gave up with some dignity.
What we have learned so far, though, is that 2 dogs will be a bee. That's all I can tell you so far, and it's a serious affair.
That's absolutely true. I think the canines in general, a little bit larger than their insect brethren. Left side Phoenix was the target last time. Now it's all about the right side. NeiruMah up in front, as he should be. The tankier dog of the two. Oh, Scary is up there.
Sam's got some free room in the mid lane here, actually, at the moment. No one's noticed it. He's starting to whittle down this Phoenix, but now Andinster turns up 2, splits the difference, and forces Sam back. Zapman leading him with the clay minions a little bit more so. But wherever the B is, it's impossible to siege.
And you're saying the B, I'm saying the Opwash.
Oh, really?
It's getting even harder against the Opwash.
First of all, Honey kills minions.
And Venenu is just waiting to use that ultimate so he gets his soul gem proc on the ultimate itself. It'll last through the entire duration of that ult.
Aquarius going towards the mid lane, looking towards Paul if he can find it. Sam's with the overhead kick as Andinster uses the eruption. Jeff went in, and Jeff went out. Actually, no, I don't think he got his choice. Was that a Ragnarok?
It sure was. Didn't have a choice. Is right. Cataclysm was there, but didn't do a whole lot.
In goes Scary D, looking for the Siege Torment. Doesn't find it, but he gets a set of beads or 2. 1 on BaRRaCCuDDa and 1 on Venenu as well. Now it's a 4v5 with Jeff off the map, but they've still got the right characters to be able to defend these Phoenixes.
It's about 30 seconds before the Geb comes up. Right side Phoenix, half HP. Left side is gone as Paul makes his way right on through there. Now willing to seep on into the base.
Fire Giant's still got about another 2 minutes left on it too. Now looking for the right-hand Phoenix as well. NeiruMah going in and gonna actually make Venenu step forward into Zapman, whose burst combo is good enough to bring down the Opwash again. No minions, but Paul still being able to free farm onto the Phoenix will bring it down. Stand to the backline, looking at BaRRaCCuDDa, the up down. Not really needed as Aquarius already falls. BaRRaCCuDDa may fall soon after, but gets away with his life. Everybody back in the fight for Zapman's firework ultimate. 2 Phoenixes down. as Trifecta getting a little bit greedy for a second, looking to end here.
Well, it seems like Zapman has done all the carrying this game, boys. I mean, he's top of the player damage charts, so good luck arguing that one.
I mean, the ultimate's really difficult to hit in my eyes.
Agreed.
It's very well aimed consistently from Zapman in this one. Specifically just making sure that nobody can escape it whatsoever. Talking about no escape, NeiruMah does get an escape away from the JeffHindla there just in time. Titan being danced around as they're using the clay minions too. There's just too much defense as now Venenu respawns. Trifecta fall back to spend all this gold they've got in their coffers, which is pretty huge. 28,000, is that what it is?
Oh, it's a large amount. Look at that gold in hand. 4K about for the jungle right there. And that's just him alone. Trifecta right now.
No, total. 28,000.
Oh, wow.
That is that good?
Well, let me put it this way.
I got a high score.
That's the same leads that EU was getting against NA in Season 2 and Season 3,
Ooh.
right?
Was it, though?
Yeah, it was. Look, watch the tape back.
You might be right. I don't remember.
You
was asking.
you guys think I'm jesting? I'm not. It really was that sort of lead.
If you
Because
say so.
NA were bad. Then they won this last year, and now everyone thinks they're good again. You know, you've got United and Splice there, and these two boys too. That's okay. You know, congratulations, 4 teams it was. I'm so proud for you all.
Why does it always become region versus region?
I don't know, and he's always the one who brings it up.
As a Smite fan, I like to watch the Smite Pro League.
Never once have I thought like EU versus NA is like a big deal to me. I don't know.
I've had this conversation with Finch on our Untitled talk show. I just don't care about EU or NA. I care about the best teams.
The fans do.
The fans do, I guess.
I'm a fan. I just care. I want to watch good Smite.
But Tom, when we say the fans, it means the majority of the fans. Just because you are a fan and it don't feel that way doesn't mean the fans don't.
That's right.
The fans think Deathwalker has cooler shoes than you.
No,
Just because some fans think that you have cooler shoes doesn't mean the fans don't think that Deathwalker is
There was like 2 or 3 fans in chat that did vote for you. We saw them.
Yep.
So like some of those exist the same way like you exist in that world of people that like NA and EU to be equal, you know?
No, it's not
Listen,
like...
I just need you guys to know that during Season 1, I got roasted to hell for being European, okay? Time and time again.
No,
Yeah,
me.
Europe
was
was
bad.
not
EU was
me.
bad. No, the scene, the people in general.
Not
okay?
me.
The
So
fans.
that got EU's back up, right? We got a bit offended by that. I'm like, you want to see this? So what do? We bring out energy, well, Epsilon at the time, give you a whooping, do it again the year after, then none of you don't really enjoy yourselves, and then we're like, all right, we might as well make them feel they've got a chance, give them Season 4, then we'll change the map, stomp them again in Season 5, and then we're on to Season 6 and do it all over.
Well, I mean, Season 4, that was not only was that a North American team, but that was a North American team named EU United that literally basically have the American flag as their logo.
Well, the problem is that like even though NA won, it still wasn't EU win because it's a United.
Well,
you know?
why are you... I'm not getting baited into this North America versus Europe.
been
Well, I
baited.
want to
One
see the
last
best
comment.
team win.
One last comment. Season 1 Europe was dummy bad. I mean, they were really
Hang on.
struggling.
Whoa. Before you start roasting Season 1, right, you guys had to ban Ares and Ymir in the final game
Yeah,
to win.
they did.
Because you didn't know how to play against a Ymir and Ares.
Sure did.
And this tournament, you're having the same issue against Ares again.
Yeah,
Every
we
time
are.
EU's just like, yeah, pull out Ares, and he's got no clue.
You're not wrong, but we still won.
Ryan Phoenix going to go down, middle one soon after the fact. Fire Giant still back on all the members of Trifecta again for a few minutes now. This middle Phoenix won't last too long with the whole squad being here, but Space Station have to make a defense of the Titan. And that's what they're worried about, is because they're going to have to just force these fire minions through time and time again.
Trifecta going to shift over here to the left-hand side, the only bird that remains. Zapman's playing all the way back. Looks like it's going to be a full retreat from Trifecta, actually. And
Is Red Buff coming up?
No.
Yeah, Red Buff is coming up soon enough.
Soonish.
Yeah, soonish.
They need the minions, first of all. I'm surprised because they do need the minion wave, though, to try and remove some of these backdoor protections. With everybody focused on defending this left-hand Phoenix, like we said, AMC and an Arpwash, there's going to be no minions any time of the week, pretty much.
Paul's a lot of things, but I don't think Paul is very patient. And if anything, that might be a detriment.
I disagree because you say it as relic usage.
That's fair. That's fair. Paul's not patient when it comes to just fighting. I think he's at the bit right now.
Talk about
jump for
impatience.
jump.
Look at Neil go in. The cataclysm after the fact was well timed to be avoided by the Ragnarok. Jeffy's already dead. Crypts were empty too. Andy taking on Sampa Soccer, who still has his ultimate as well. And there's the fight over. Just Jeff falls, and now with that opening up, they're going in, but Scary D got removed by the B.
That's a ton of damage right there. Makes it a 4-on-4. Scary D down means Space Station are going to go aggressive. Zapman to the sky, BaRRA to the ground.
And Andinster now trying to get a kill on the backside, but Zapman will bring him down as he was looking for Paul. The burst onto NeiruMah's not going to be enough by the corpse explosion. Phoenix falls down on the left-hand side, and Trifecta only have to deal with 2 mages.
It's Aquarius and Venenu. That said, these 2 mages can delete you if you're low enough. NeiruMah's in a bad spot.
He is, but he's still healthy enough with all the tankiness that he has, plus they've got those firemen.
Too many fire minions then, I believe, for Space Station to really deal with this. NeiruMah keeping him busy. The Titan will fall, and Trifecta take game 1.
What a game it was. Paul just absolutely did it. The gall of Paul. Ability to stay aggressive and just stay heavy-minded on the mentality of just putting the boot on the throat and taking care of business.
For a second, they were all really serious, and then I saw Venenu say a joke to Jeff, and Jeff smiled. And it's very rare that I get to see Jeff smile
I was
when
about
he
to
loses
say,
a game,
if
right?
you see Jeff smile while in the player booth, you know that they're feeling pretty relaxed at the end, because Jeff is usually laser focused on being the meanest looking dude in the room.
Yeah, Trifecta take game 1 then in this best of 3, which is for seeding. If you're just tuning in, both these teams have already qualified to Worlds already. This is just about where they're going to fall in the bracket. Everyone's just celebrating.
Yeah, JeffHindla certainly really bringing it together, and watching them have some fun. I'm glad to see it.
Let's get it over to the desk to break down game 1, and maybe we'll have something fun for you for game 2. Desk, go.
Thank you, casters, for that. And I think the breakdown of the game was Paul.
Yeah,
Paul
it was
happened.
the pooler, not the Ullr. Instead, it was the, what was it?
The Pauler.
I'm thinking of a way to combine NeiruMah and Zapman together. I just don't see it really happening. The Zuwa?
Zapwa?
The
Zuwa.
Zuwa. Okay, that's the
Zuwa.
best way to do it.
Yeah.
He didn't die. He had a remarkable performance, assisting in Paul's kills there. A great combination, I think, being able to flex that Ullr in the mid position.
What a fantastic performance from Zapman, just pressing full whenever he needed to be, but pressing that ultimate. And how do you get that mechanical skill?
You just have to have index fingers, pretty much. And that's how you succeed in that regard.
I think I qualify then.
Yeah.
The post-game stats brought to you by Access Replay show the tale of this game. Paul, 14-1, ended with a godlike streak at the end of the game. Zapman, 6-0-11 on that NeiruMah, able to hit that 4. And how many times do you see somebody walk at your mid and they just turn around and slap him, say, no, just stop?
Oh, yeah, that last siege where
Yeah.
Andy tried to make any play happen at the desperation mode onto the left side. Phoenix Siege couldn't really defend the onslaught that Trifecta were bringing. And what a turnaround from Trifecta yet again. I have to remind the folks at home, this is a team that lost to the European minor league teams in day number 1, beating out CLG, beating out Mouse to qualify to HRX, and now beating Space Station Gaming in the first game.
And when they were in that lower bracket run, every single time they came up against another opponent, whether it be CLG or Mouse, people bet against them. People were saying CLG should take the match 2-0, maybe 2-1. Yesterday, sorry, people were saying, oh, Mouse should take this 2-0, should be a clean set. And, well, that happens.
Yep. Paul happens. The way he was playing in game number 1, I believe, against CLG, he willed his way towards Trifecta finding the victory over CLG. Whenever he is playing this Ullr, he cannot be stopped. And I think there might be needed some consideration to take away the Ullr.
Paul just walked up and said, hey, you like living? Living's not in your option today. Paul is a menace on this Ullr.
So Paul is not playing HRX placements. He's playing a rank game right now, playing this Ullr. He is just basically in the comfort of his own home, doing whatever he pleases.
I mean, he could have got a quadra kill just in that previous clip, but decided not. He decided to have some mercy on Venenu. And I was actually having a look at the player cams consistently through this game. Paul looked angry to be in this game. He's like, I don't want to be here. Can we please just go home?
And they finally found the victory after about 35 minutes of play. That man on your screen right there carrying Trifecta through game 1.
35 long, grueling minutes for both of these teams. And as you said, Paul just sitting with that look of, I'm just done with this. Here's another kill. That's one kill closer to us going home. And then over onto the flip side there, Venenu didn't have the best of chances to really have much fun there on that op watch. As we saw earlier on, he was getting tower dove at level 9 by the Ullr.
Yeah, it was very easy to find the hail of arrows, right? Like the bladed arrow has more extended range, hail of arrows, so it's a good matchup, I would say. Like normally you're thinking of assassins to get in there, but hey, a hunter middle could do the same trick.
It can easily just blow up Puch from a safe distance if Puch is hiding under his tower trying to heal up. Bop, down he goes. You know exactly where he's going to be going, next to those corpses, so Hail of Arrows is a very easy ability to hit on him.
That's right. It's very telegraphed once you drop those corpses to get the health back, trying to reset some of your cooldowns. Zapman really focused about trying to see how hard pressing 4 is.
Look at Jeff smiling there. Normally, they said it, normally Jeff is the very dialed in, never really cracking that smile there, having the time of his life, but you can tell that even after that game, they're just all smiles here in the North America. There's not a whole lot to really worry about this set here. It is the placement matchup. They do want the best possible opponent, but your prize is either E United or Dignitas.